I am going to be recording this for training
Trial.
purposes in case we need it in the future. I hope it's okay with you. And I'm going to proceed now. So first of
Trial.
all, I think I've met most of you already, the current attendees. If I haven't met you before, this is me. My name is Carlos
Trial.
Rodriguez, and I'm a trainer at MLS Listings. I'm sitting right now in one of our conference rooms here in Sunnyvale, 740 Kiefer Road. That's our address, and that's my office phone number.
Trial.
874-0217 if you want to write it down, and my cell phone number. If you ever need
Trial.
me, write it down. You can leave me a voicemail, and I always get back to everyone. All right, and same with my email address right there at the bottom. So we know I'm not the only one, of course, right? We have Dave in the middle of the page. He was supposed to be with you today, but something came up. So that's a good thing that we have
Trial.
here at the MLS, that we can always swap the classes. And it's going to be me. So you're stuck with me today again. So we have Mark on the left-hand side. He's the director of our department. And then we have Carlos on the right-hand side.
Trial.
Okay, wonderful.
So
Thank you so much.
I'm going to be putting everybody on mute as they arrive, so that you can hear my voice. If there is any question, by the way, feel free to go to the chat window. You will be able to see it right there. Raise your hand, and so I can go back to that. And so far, I just have 4 or 5 of you: Farhana, Mark, Michael, Tatiana, and Wendy. So again, welcome. And let me step back for a second. Well, I'm the guy on the right-hand side right here on that page that you're seeing. That's me, Carlos. Let's talk about this class, right? How do I find my next listing or my next listings? Let me put everybody back on mute. So it's gonna be like this during the first couple of minutes. I need to mute everyone. If you want to unmute yourselves, I think there's a way you can do that. Click on the little microphone icon next to your name when you hover over your name, and try unmuting yourself. I think you can do that. Otherwise, just send me the message through the chat window. Now, how do I find my next listing or my next listings? So need help finding listings? That's why you're here, right? This course will teach you to understand where buyers are purchasing homes and in what price range they are purchasing most often. And you will also be able to identify homeowners in those, let's call them sweet spots, who own the homes and those homes that the buyers want or are seeking, right? So that's exactly the reason why you're here. Perhaps you already have your farm, you're doing it, but somehow you say, well, this is it for me. I don't see any activity here. It happens all the time, right? Within your little area that you chose, there is no activity. Nothing is happening. And that's the reason why you are joining this class today. So I think I don't have any other slide right there. You just go there. That's right. So let me get rid of this little PowerPoint presentation. I don't need to share it with you because there's really not much to it. So I'm going to have to close it. So this class again is about where I find my next listings. It could be not your area where you're at right now. It could be like the next neighborhood next to you, right? Your neighbors, or not even there, maybe a little bit farther than that. So there's a couple of steps that I'm gonna have to follow. In order to take this class, by the way, you need to be familiar with 2 of our main systems. Matrix, we're gonna be using Matrix a lot, and we're also gonna be using Realist, tax records. So therefore, I went ahead and I already logged in to pro.mlslistings.com, and I already opened another tab with tax records, right? So when you jump to tax records, it's gotta be something under property type. So make sure you're under My Search tab right there when you open it up, and not Quick Search. My Search, click on the little yellow folder right there, click on the property type and say Open. All right. So you need to really be working. For some reason, it's taking a couple seconds. Right here under My Search for that second tab, Realist, and it's got to say property type all the time. There's a reason for that. And you're supposed to see these buttons right here, a blank page, a little yellow folder, which is where I just went to select this page, property type, the little save button, this button to clear the page, and my recent searches. So that's exactly the way it's got to look. You have to see the map. You have to see a little grid underneath that. And this is where you enter your criteria when we get there, right? So right now, you probably don't understand why I'm bringing you here. So as we go through the class, you will understand it clearly. So for those of you that have already taken this class, there's a little tweak. There's a new system that we use. So I'm going to walk you through the entire process, which is the lengthiest process of all the processes we have. Let me walk you right there, take you right there. So I'm going to start with the training tab. I went back to my homepage on pro.mlslistings.com. I'm going to click training. And first of all, these are all the classes that we teach. I believe most of you have been here before. We have new courses, about 10 classes. We have 10 pro courses, kind of like intermediate level. And then we have 2 more, which are advanced classes, right? I want to click right here where it says new courses. And the class that you are supposed to take before you come here, well, there's a few, right? It's Matrix 101, 201, and 301. If hopefully you took them, you're good, right? If you haven't taken them, that's still okay. I'm pretty sure you're going to understand, but it's better if you already attended those 3 sessions. Matrix 101, 201, 301, all right? Okay, because we're going to be working using that system. The second one, again, is realist tax records. Now, I'm going to step back for a second right here, and I'm going to take you to the 3rd level power courses. This class we're going to talk about today is exactly one of those advanced classes. We only have 2. How do I automate my market updates? And how do I find my next listing? So this is it, right? So what are we supposed to cover today? The course materials are research and consumer buying activity, identifying target homes and price ranges, identifying activity neighborhoods, determining targeted homeowners, and building your market stats, right? So this sounds kind of weird right now, but let me get started with this thing. So one of the most important things we need to know right now is what's going on with the market, right? Let's start from there. So we know if I go to my Matrix dashboard, and if you took the Matrix 101 class, that to learn about what's happening in your area, you can go to the Market Watch and start from here. So I need to take you there for a particular reason. So I'm going to start here. So once again, I went to my dashboard, and I'm under Market Watch. I'm going to click Customize. So I don't know if you can follow me with this, because you have probably one screen, or if you have 2 and you're doing it simultaneously, that's even better, right? So I'm going to click here under Customize, and I always select single family home because I believe that is the driver of the real estate industry. And I want to select, I'm going to go to the county level, Santa Clara. I just want to get my point across here, which you will understand in a second. So single family homes in Santa Clara. What's happening with single family homes in Santa Clara? So at the county level, during the last 24 hours, right, we had 63 new listings. If I click this link, it's going to show me those 63 new listings across the county. Then only 3 people decided to increase their price on their properties they're selling, versus 20 that decided to decrease the price. So if I click here, it's going to show me for the last 24 hours what was that price cut that they had. 1%, 3%, 2%, 5%. There's this one for 10%, 13%, and so forth, right? Well, last year, it was kind of crazy. It was a crazy market. We all know that, right? Around June, July, August, the market went all the way through the roof, and people were getting more money than what they were asking for. So if their list price was 1 million, they were getting 10% more, up to almost 50% more, depending on the area. Like Willow Glen, I think they had 13% more over the list price, what they were getting, right? This year is not the same. And I'm going to show you why, right? First of all, we have a lot of inventory. We know that sales are moving slowly for this particular reason that I'm showing you right now. So when I go back to my dashboard, right? So we already saw that for the last 24 hours, only 3 people decided to increase versus 20 that decided to decrease. If I go back to customize right here, and if I go back to my window, let me step back, and I change it to the last 3 days of activity in Santa Clara. How many people decided to increase prices during the last 3 days? Still, 3 people only versus 69 that decided to drop their price on their home, right? Because they're not selling. Homes are sitting down with longer days on the market. There is a lot of competition right there. And the last 7 days of activity, only 6 people decided to increase their price versus 119 that decided to decrease. So that's a pretty big range right there, right? Between 6 to 119, or ratio, actually, that's the correct word. So this is not happening only in Santa Clara County. If I go to customize right now and I switch to Santa Cruz, so I'm gonna stay at the county level and I'm gonna type Santa Cruz right there, right? And select the code SZC right there. And then I hit save with single family homes again. Notice that it's exactly the same thing. 2 people decided to increase versus 44 that decided to decrease. And then I want to go back, and I already went from Santa Clara to the south. I'm going to go to the north. I'm going to go to San Mateo. So start typing right here, San Mateo, and then you get the view of San Mateo as far as the market, right? So 86 new listings in San Mateo during the last 7 days. And only 2 people decided to increase versus 30 that decided to decrease. So I just wanted to show you that the market is behaving like that right now. So don't panic if you're not selling your property right away. It is taking a little longer on days on the market, and people are not getting the premium that they expected. The premium is that percentage over the list price that you were used to get last year, right? 10%, 5%, 10%, almost up to 15% in certain areas. So what we're gonna do today, I'm gonna show you how to find those hot spots, right? Where people are definitely still selling. Like for some reason, people want that area and they are selling their homes with specific characteristics. Maybe it's the 2 to 3 bedroom house or the 3 to 4 bedroom house with at least two bathrooms, right? So we're gonna find out how that works. It's pretty easy. And again, it might not be that you're gonna get a higher premium on those homes, but at least that area is hot. It's pretty active, and you can reach out, get out of your little area, and go there and find other homes. So I want to give you an example. Again, this is the longest process we have, so pay attention to it. And if you don't get it the first time, I want to do a second exercise. And then even if you don't get it with the second exercise, I'm going to send you the instructions, the step-by-step instructions that we have just for the first method, right? And you can review it, and then you can either go watch our pre-recorded webinar. We have this webinar already pre-recorded. It was recorded like a while back, but it's still okay. I'll tell you about that later. Now, I want to get started on how to do this, right? So I want to go back to my Pro Home page right there. I'm going to start here, all right? Next step, you need to open up this page. Go to Matrix, the little house with the red roof, and start right here. So I know most of you already know how to run searches here in Matrix, but I'm going to do a little something here so that you understand what I want to try to do. I want to go for actives right now, which is inventory, single family homes in Santa Clara. I'm not going to go to Santa Clara, the county, but Santa Clara, the city, right? How many matches do I have? It says I have 1, and that's not true because I need to fix one of the fields I have right here. Just give me 1 second. This field. Okay, multi-class. I just added that yesterday. So let me go back and fix it. Okay, let me clear everything. How do you fix that? If you ever put something extra like I just did, let me go find that extra field that I added called multi something. Where is that? Here, right? Oh, see the little asterisk disappears. So that's exactly what I need. I don't need to have anything right there. So if you ever do that, just say reset the system to search defaults or set this current default as my starting everything. Okay, so I'm good now. So active single family homes in, where did I say? Santa Clara. Why is it giving me results already? It looks like it still caught that little asterisk. Well, I'll fix it later, but never mind. So I'm gonna delete it. So I came up with how many? 54 active properties in Santa Clara, the city right now, right? If I go to my results page, I'm gonna be able to do multiple things here, right? If I'm looking for a house for one of my clients, of course, I can select them, email them to them, and so forth. But that's not what I need right now. So how do you know what is the average list price in the area? I know I can sort the list price from low to high or high to low like this, but there is an easier way to do this, right? I'm going to talk a little bit about stats. So what you really need to do is, out of the 54 properties that you got right here, you don't need to select anything. You know, like when you email, you select a few, right? I'm going to deselect everything. So you basically don't need to select anything. Scroll all the way to the bottom of the page and click stats. There is this button here called stats, and there's another button up here called stats. Don't click on this one right at the top. That's going to take you somewhere else. So click right here, and don't click charts because that's going to bring you back to the upper button. Click tabular, all right? Now you have your 54 properties right there in Santa Clara, right? This is telling me that the minimum price right there is 910, the maximum over 2 million. Days on the market, considering all those 54, is about, the low is the minimum 0, maximum 148. It says 36 days if you put them all together, right? On the active listings, and this is my average price. So we're going to be targeting this line all the time. When we talk about this class, this is where we're going to go all the time, to the average line, right? But these are just the actives. Now, another thing that I can do is go to the basics drop down right there. There's a drop down, as you can see, a little arrow. I'm going to switch to by stats and price. So the stats, I just have actives, of course, right? But then this is telling me that 5 of those properties, of the 54 properties, are selling between 900 to a million. One of them is selling between a million to 1.1. 5 of them between this price range, 6 of them between that price range, and so forth, right? So I have the breakdown of the different price ranges right there. So this is important because we're gonna start using this when we start our actual exercise. So let me step back actually and walk you through the real process now. Now I just wanted to show you how that works because we're gonna kind of go into the same. So I need to go back to my criteria. There is this button right here that I can click on, criteria. And remember, you always toggle back between criteria, map, and results. Don't hit the back button here because you're going to lose whatever criteria you entered. But what I'm going to do, click criteria here or click criteria there, either or. And I get back to this page, right? Now, I'm not going to be working with actives. Remember what I need to do? I need to identify the areas where properties are selling the most. And I'm going to say, I just want to work with solds for that particular reason. Anytime, and I always mention this during every class I teach, when you touch this status here, sold, you have to go next to it where it says close of escrow and use the little calendar. You say, from today, I want to go 1 month back, right? From the 5th to the 5th. But that's not the most convenient way. So I always discourage people from using that. What I tell people, use the zero logic. 0-30, right? On solds, from today going back 30 days, right? On single family homes, where in Santa Clara, how many properties sold during the last 30 days in Santa Clara? 43, regardless of the price or the number of bedrooms and bathrooms. 40 something properties sold, right? 43. If I change that to 60 right now, it's not going to be 40 something, it's going to be 92 and so forth. Can you do maybe a different status besides solds? Yes, you hold down your control key and I can do actives, contingents, pendings, and solds. This is what you do when you run a CMA or a quick CMA, correct? And you're trying to find comps in the area. Right now, we're not trying to find comps. I'm going to focus right here on solds for the last 60 days, single family homes. Don't enter anything for this exercise. Don't enter anything under bedrooms and bathrooms. Leave this blank and leave this blank right here, price, for right now. So I'm worried about the results only. Last 60 days of Santa Clara, I came up with 92 properties, correct? So next step, I need to jump to my results. Just like I did before with my actives, now I'm focusing only on solds, click results, and I'm gonna do exactly the same thing that I did before. I don't need to select anything here. I wanna click stats here and tabular right there. All right, so I wanna expand it a little bit. And what I wanted you to see is that across Santa Clara during the last 60 days, we had 92 sold properties, right? Where they went from $799, which I believe it's kind of weird because there are no properties for that price. But we have $799 on the low, and the high almost $2.5 million. This is what I really need, this line right here, okay? So I'm gonna have to open another page, a Word document, right? And a blank page. That's what I need for a couple of minutes, because I'm gonna be placing there a couple of my findings right there. So I need to record this, right? So you decide how you want to record it. Maybe you have a piece of paper and a pencil or a pen. And what you really need to record is the average price and the number of bedrooms and bathrooms. This is the most typical home selling in that area in Santa Clara. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, built around 1966, and the square footage about 1,600, 1,650, right, average, and the lot size about 6,000. That's all across Santa Clara County, right? Now, how many days is it taking to sell a property in Santa Clara County, in Santa Clara, the city? 28 days. So these are also properties. It took about 28 days average. So if somebody comes up to you with a home in Santa Clara and you promise them you're going to sell their home in 2 weeks, that's wrong. That was probably last year, maybe less than 2 weeks, right? Right now it's about 28 days. So that's how I know. And there's, of course, if I go to my stats button here, there's another way to find out that in an easier way. But right now, let's just stay right there. So what is my list price? What was my list price right there? 1.371. What was my close price? 1.379. So like $8,000 difference average, right? So that means that in Santa Clara, across Santa Clara City, in general, they're getting a little bit above the list price. Whatever they're asking for, they're still getting like probably 1% more or 0.5% more. In some areas, like Morgan Hill, probably they're getting under 100%. That means whatever they ask for, if they ask for $1 million for a home, they're getting like, I don't know, 950 or 920 instead of $1 million, right? Under the list price. So we need to record this information. So what I need to do is I have my little snipping tool. If you don't have it, this is from Microsoft. Go back to this little window right there. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong one. Left click, go to search and type snipping, right? Snipping tool. See, you find that that's already built in within Microsoft, and drag it, and that's how I put it right there. If you're using a Mac, you have to do Command Shift 4, and then you can capture that image, right? Which is exactly what I'm gonna do. So click on the little close that. The little scissor, pair of scissors right there. Say new, and we're gonna save this information for a few minutes, right? Remember, this is Santa Clara. I can even highlight, use my highlighter, and go right here. This is exactly what I'm aiming right now for Santa Clara. Copy. There's a copy button right at the top, and I'm gonna jump back to my blank page and deposit that right there. Okay. So I just placed it, copy paste right there. And I'm gonna hit enter because this is Santa Clara across the whole city, right? I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna go back to my stats right here. And let me show you this, right? Once you got this and you copied it, go back to here and say, just like we did with the actives, by status and price. Because you really need to do that for one particular reason. Remember what I said earlier? These are all solds, right? But only one of them sold between this price range. One of them sold between that price. Well, it's pretty much the same. 5 of them sold between 900 to $1 million. 3 sold between this price range. 22 sold between this price range. 13. Which one is the highest one? You keep
Trial.
scrolling down. I think that in that area in Santa Clara, this is the winner right here, 22, right? So most of the homes are selling between 1 million, 1.1 to 1.2. So you need to capture that information. Now that I know what is the most popular bracket or price range, which is that, I want to click the back button, right? Click the back button and you land right on this page, and then go back to your criteria page. Like I said before, you hit criteria here or at the bottom of the page, and you need to enter that range right there. We said 1 million, 1.1 million to 1.2 million. Is that correct? So I only need homes in that area within that price range because I know that's the one that's selling. All right. Another thing I need to do at this point, once you enter the lease price, select active at the same time. So you want the solds, but you also want to view the active properties in the area to see if you're going to have any competition. So I'll show you what I'm talking about on the next couple of screens, right? So what do I need to do now? Now, instead of going back to the results, once you added the list price here and the active button right here, don't go to results. Well, I know I have 29 results, but don't hit results, hit map. All right, let's give it a couple of seconds. And this is what I got, right? This is my Santa Clara. So what I really need to analyze is the little clusters. I don't have many, and this is just the price range that I selected, 1.1 to $1.2 million homes, all scattered right here. So I need to find the area that has the most. So it's somewhere around here. Do you see that? So I want to get closer, a little bit closer, and I want to select this area from Cabrillo to Scott to Homestead, going around, going right there. Do you see that? Because there are too many homes within that price range, and that's my target area right now. So how do I select that? I want to go up to my tools. Remember, you have the radius, the rectangle, the polygon right here. So we're going to select the polygon, go to Cabrillo, start right here, place the dot, and start moving to the right, and then go to the bottom right there, all the way up to Homestead. I want to select kind of like that little boot right there. It's like a boot, like Italy, right? Sort of. So let me go back right there and pull it this way. All right. Okay. So I got what I needed. You can always reshape it. As you can see, I'm doing that right now. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 all together, right? And it says 8 right here, as you can see. So what I need to do is one more thing. Now that I selected the area that I want to explore, I'm going to click stats again. I'm going to repeat the same process that I did before when I went all over Santa Clara, and I got, remember, I got this. This is all Santa Clara with 92 solds of all different price ranges. But now what I'm going to do, based on my findings, I'm going to do stats, tabular, for just this little area, right? And this is what I got. On the actives, there's just one active, and it says so far it's been 29 days for that property in that area. But for the ones that sold, right, between that price range, it's only 10 days. They sold in 10 days, as you can see, right? 7 of those properties sold in 10 days. Well, this is what you need to capture to show those people in the area. Perhaps you can pull all their names of all those people living there and tell them, do you know that 3 homes in this area, just like yours, sold in 10 days or something like that? Well, you know the words better than I, right? When creating flyers that you're going to deliver, or you can do some door knocking and drop them off. So you need to tell them that the average home in some areas in Santa Clara is about 30 days, but you can sell a property like theirs in about, let's say, a week and a half, less than 2 weeks, right? So you can see here that 7 properties between 1.2 million, I'm sorry, sold in 10 days. And if we put them all together, actives and solds, which there's just one active, yeah, let's say, let's be fair, 12 days, right? So in as little as 12 days, you can sell a property like that in this area. Now, what is also important is this, right? The list price to close price. You're still closing price a little bit over the asking price, right there. Not too much because remember, the market is behaving like that. And that's why I took you to the stats when we started the class. And I showed you that Santa Clara and Monterey, Santa Cruz and San Mateo, everybody's decreasing prices, and that is causing that. You don't get the premium that you really want to get. Now, we're going to do this. I'm going to select these 8 properties now. I want to go back to my little pair of scissors right there and select this. I'm going to say new, and I'm going to select this right here. This is what I need, all right? And I'm going to highlight just this. What is the average type of home selling in the area? This, right? So I'm going to worry only about the number of bedrooms, bathrooms, the year built. Well, it's not really relevant. Bedrooms, bathrooms, and square footage. So I'm going to need to find out who has that type of house within that little shape that I just drew, right? And so I want to save this. I'm going to click copy and go back to my page and paste. So this is my whole Santa Clara City. This is my little area with only 8 properties that I saved. So once I copied that, I recorded that information using my little snipping tool. I want to click the back button, right? I want to go back to that shape that I drew right there. And what do I need to do now? I need to go to tax records to identify who in this area has a similar type of home. And then that's going to be your target audience right there. You can start sending them flyers saying that they have that house that everybody wants in that area. Maybe this is the time for them to sell, to upgrade, or downsize, right? So that's exactly your main objective right here. So pay attention to this shape. Now, in order to go to tax records, you're going to start again from the main page, click Realist right here, and then you're going to go, and once you have that page right there, it's going to open up like this, right? 2 things. Like I said before, you need to be able to see the map, the grid, and this right here, right? All the different fields to enter your criteria. So make sure you're not under quick search. When you're looking for one single property, you type in the address, say search, and it pops up. Or you can find it by owner's name, by MLS, listings number, or APN number, either or. But this time we're going to use my search tab. And the reason for that is that we're going to be working on the map. And see this pencil right here? This is the one that provides you with the radius, the rectangle, the polygon. If you are under quick search, the pencil is not available. So you're going to believe the system doesn't work. All right? So just remember that. Make sure you're always under my search. And also make sure that you pulled property type right here. And the reason why you do this, select property type, open, and it's going to put it right there. So there's a reason. When you use this property type thing, you're going to be able to see a couple of fields, especially this one called land use. All right? So I'm going to explain to you how that works. So let's get started. Now, I don't need to view the entire map and all the continents right there. I don't know why it took me there, but I really need to jump to that zip code. So if you don't know what zip code you're talking about right now, it's pretty easy to determine. Go back to your matrix right there, and this button right here next to the broom, it's for layers, right? And make sure you're at the right zoom level, because if you are too far, it's not going to work. Let me show you. If I'm too far and I try to enter zip code, it's going to be kind of grayed out. It becomes red. It's locked, right? It doesn't let me do anything. So I need to be at the right zoom level in order for me to use it. So I'm going to go back there and say zip. So I know right now that I'm exactly in 95050, which is Santa Clara. So perhaps this is Santa Clara as well, 95051, but it's just on this side. Now I want to jump to the map in Realist to this exact area. So in Realist, what I need to do is go to the little magnifying glass right there, and you can jump to an address, you can jump to a city, but I'm going to jump to 95050, correct? I'm going to say go. Voila. So I'm gonna zoom in a little bit, and that's exactly where I'm at. A little bit closer. Where was that at? That was St. Thomas. And what was the other area? Let me go. Homestead, right? Homestead was right there. I think it's around this. Remember the little boot I told you about? I think it's right here, basically. Let me see if I can move this down a little bit. Doesn't let me do that. Well, so what I'm trying to do is go from Homestead to Scott all the way up to Cabrillo and go down. This is the boot, right, that I was showing you earlier. I can just go to my map view right now. I think that's probably better, and zoom in. So this is the area I want. Let me zoom in one more time. And I'm gonna go from here, right? Cabrillo, going down all the way right there. So it's right here. Oh, let me try this one more time. It's probably around here. This is the avenue, Cabrillo. So what I'm gonna do is use the pencil, and I'm gonna use the rectangle. That's the easiest one to use for right now. And I'm gonna drop a little dot right there and start coming down right up to here, right? And then I can reshape it. As you can see, when you click on it, you can pull these right here, and then wait a second, try to get rid of that little thing right there. Okay, right there. Kind of like right there and right there, right? Right there and right here. So I'm using the rectangle because when I've tried to use the other shapes, the here in Realist, because it's an old system, it goes away. So this is what I found to be the easiest way to do this. So I already got the shape I needed, which is kind of like this, right? Now here's the thing. Now I'm within tax records, right? And I'm about to pull all the tax records for all the homeowners or property owners around here. But I just mentioned the key word, property owners. That might be gas stations, hotels, clinics, you name it, right? I don't need all of that. What type of property am I going after? When I enter my criteria, remember, I said single family home. So what I'm gonna do is, first of all, I need all the single family homes in here. So when you enter property type here from remember the yellow folder, you selected that, you're gonna find land use. Just like in Matrix, when you're running a search, right? You need to specify what type of property you're looking for. Go to letter Q to T right here and say, let me scroll down a little bit, single family home right there, all right? And hit apply. Now, under land use, it says here single family home. So if I click search, it's gonna give me all the single family homes in the area, but I don't need all of them. I just need whatever has 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms exactly, and with around 1,300 square feet, right? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna be more specific. Jump back to your Realist, and then you don't have that field for bedrooms and bathrooms here. So what you need to do when you get to this point, click Edit Attributes right here, and go to Characteristics, right? Right here, and select Bedrooms and Bathrooms right there. That's all you need. We're not gonna worry about the lot size, just bedrooms and bathrooms, and hit Apply. Now what I just did, I basically, under my fields, I added bedrooms here and bathrooms. It was not there before, remember? I had to go to Edit Attributes one more time so that you remember that. Characteristics, selected this and that, and hit Apply. Now I have those two, and I need 3 bedrooms, right? And 2 bathrooms. Oh, sorry, 2 through 2. I just need that specific type of home, 3 and 2. I'm not gonna say 3 to 4 unless you want to, but that's gonna be a bigger number. So if you say 3 and leave it blank like that, this means 3 plus, 2 plus, like in Matrix. So it could be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bedroom homes in the area. So you don't want that. Just the 3 to 2, right? And then the building square feet, we are around what was that? If I go back to my notes right here, 1,265. This is the average home that is selling in the area. So I can, when I do a CMA, I always tell people, get a range. And usually my range for construction is 200 up and 200 down. But you could be flexible. So whatever you determine. I want to go from 1,000 to 500 right here. So I jump back and I want to enter right here 1,000 square feet. Any home within 1,000 square feet to 1,500 square feet. Or if you want to make it tighter, you can say 1,100 to 1,400, whatever you decide. Well, let's just go for that right now, okay? And I want to hit search. So I'm ready to hit search, and it's going to start running, and then it's going to come up with the numbers, right? So it's going to tell me how many homes like that I see within this shape. Now, if you don't see anything right now, it says too many results. Don't panic. Just switch to grid view. Up here, right, you have map view, grid split, click grid view, and then it's going to show you the number of properties you found. I found 266 properties in that area. Those could be my possible clients, right, if I can persuade them to sell their property. Now, one of the things we need to do, there is a little indicator right here. So I'm about to select, see this little, this column right here? You can move columns around if you don't find this column. This is the MLS listings indicator. That means that those properties sold through the MLS sometime in the past, right? It doesn't specify when. Well, this one, it was sold in 2015 through the MLS, This one, not on the MLS, not on the MLS, not on the MLS. So what I want to do, first of all, is sort them out, right? Click right here, find that column called sell date, and click this little arrow once, right? That means that all these properties sold on the MLS in 2019 from here going up. So there is no need for me to waste my money on my cards sending them to those homes, right? What I need to do is eliminate those. So I could deselect all the 266 or select them all from here, and I can start deselecting one by one individually. But I'm going to be wasting my time if I want to get rid of all those 2019s. So I'm going to actually eliminate 2019, 2018, 2017, 2016, and so forth. I need to eliminate 5 years because I don't need to send a flyer to those people. Those people either just bought their home there and they're not willing to sell it, right? They're feeling comfortable after 2 or 3 or 4 years. So I don't need to send them any flyers. So I don't need to waste my money with 262. So the first thing I need to do is eliminate a couple of years back. So there is another field right here called settle date, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say from 12/31/2013, right? 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Well, let's go to, let's say 2013, 5 or 6 years back. From that date, and this is the right nomenclature. If you enter a dash here instead of the of this symbol, right? It's not going to work. So, okay. So 12/31/2013, just like that. So I'm going to say search. How many do I currently have? 264, right? I want to hit, and one of the things I wanted to show you before I hit that, I want to scroll down through this page because I forgot to mention that. On my results, 2019, 2018, etc. And most of them sold on the MLS, right? But if you go farther, right? Now, notice that all of these properties have not been sold lately, right? And they probably bought them a long time ago. See, 1986, 87, 88. Those are actually my main clients right there because they're sitting probably on a pile of cash right there because they haven't sold in like 20, 30 years. Anyway, I want to hit search now. And instead of having 280 something or whatever number I had before, I'm going to have the right number of people because I actually suppressed 5 years, right? And I'm starting from 2013 going back in years. So I came up with 126 results. But now I also don't want to send the flyers to people who are renting the property. I want to really target the homeowners. First of all, if I'm ready with 126, I can create labels, right? I can hit create my 126 labels. You select whatever type of label you're going to use for your cards. And the most common one is 5160 right here with 10, 10, and 10 per column. And you use this side right here, not this one, but this one, right? Use mixed cases, use tax billing address, show current owner. So it's going to show you the name of the homeowner, and you want to eliminate duplicates if for some reason that happens. And also, I always select this, and I say current resident, because I want to, if somebody receives my postcard, my flyer, I don't want them to put them in the garbage, right? Maybe they're renting the house from their brother, their sister, and they know they really want to sell, so they can save it. If it says just the name of the homeowner, and it's another person, they might just get rid of it. So I always do that and use this section, right? So before I hit create my labels, I need to do one more thing. And by the way, my quota is 7,500 labels per month. It resets every first of the month, right? So if you ran 4,000 labels this year, this month, back in August, right? September started with 7,500 again. And then if you run out of them, but nobody really does that, right? It's kind of silly, but it counts towards labels and exports. If you decide to export all those records and play around on an Excel spreadsheet, you can do the same, right? So you choose either you want to create labels or you want to export. So this is a Word document. This is a CSV file. Now, before I do that, there is just one more step I forgot, which is, again, I need to identify the homeowners who live in the house, right? So there is on tax records a field on every report that says occupied by owner, yes or no, right? So that's the field I need to add. I'm gonna go back to edit attributes right here, click on it, go to owner information right here, and select owner occupied right there. So I'm gonna add that extra field that I didn't have, and it's gonna go right at the bottom of this area. So when I hit apply, right there, it's going to take a couple of seconds. Then I can go back, and now it says owner occupied, right? Owner occupied is yes. So how many do I currently have? 126. Owner occupied, yes. I want to see how many I really have. I had maybe about the same number, 114. So like 12 less. But now this is exactly what I need. I want to target all these people. Either I'm going to print my labels, or I'm going to hit the export button and export those 114 results and play around with them. Maybe do some door knocking, organizing like the streets. And I say, today I'm going to target a Vargas, right, place or whatever. You put them together. So what I'm going to do right now is one last thing before you make a mistake. Hit the save button, right? You want to save what you just did. Remember, you just went through a lot of things, adding all these fields and all that. Don't lose that. Click the save button right here and give it a name. I want to call this my Santa Clara, or my new Santa Clara farm, whatever, right? So it's going to be under save searches. Hit save. Now, if something happens, if there's a power outage, or if you want to come back later and recover this same thing and create labels or exports, it's there, right? So let me just show you how that works. So I'm going to close it. Let's say I accidentally did it, or it's another day. I go back to my release the next day or a few days later. And once it opens, just give it a couple seconds. It's getting there. Once it opens, make sure you go to that tab that says My Search and go to the yellow folder, right? Yellow folder. Click and select My Santa Clara Farm, which is the new one I just created, and say Open. So initially, when it opens, you're not going to see the results, right? It's like, where are they? You still have the criteria that you saved right here. Remember my settle date and all that? Oh, it was supposed to be recording date, but okay, I made a mistake. It was supposed to be recording date. I entered it on the wrong field, but it doesn't matter. So you already got the idea. Go to recording date, not settle date. And then once you say search, it's gonna pull those results again. 114, I believe we had, right? So 114, and if I jump to my map now, it's going to show me that area with those homes right there. So those are the types of homes that are selling. Remember, there are 7 or 8 homes that just sold in that area. That's like the heaviest area right now in Santa Clara, where homes are selling for $1 to $1.2 million. And then this is your target right now. Okay. Okay, so we got it. But that's the entire process. It's 29 or 30 different steps. You start with matrix, and then you jump to realist. But there is a new tool, by the way, that we're using, and that's why you need to learn the new method as well, right? I'll be sending you the instructions, the step-by-step instructions on how to do all what I just did using matrix and then using realist. Now, I'm going to create a whole new exercise from scratch, right? So forget about matrix right now. I'm going to close it, right? I'm going to close my matrix, and I'm going to leave my realist open just for the heck of it. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to start all over. So let's pretend this time you're analyzing a different area. So we're not going into Santa Clara. I'm going to use Blossom Valley, which is actually pretty big. It's almost like a little city right there. And there are a lot of similar homes in the area. So where do I start here? I'm going to start the process exactly the same as I did before, right? With solds, I'm going to say solds. I need single family homes. Don't enter anything right here. Don't enter anything under price. I'm not going to do any city this time. I want to do area 12, right? Which is Blossom Valley. And how many results do I have? Remember, this is not going to happen to you when you go there. For some reason, my system caught that little asterisk yesterday, and I need to remove it. But I'll fix it later. So I have how many active? Oh, sorry, active, sold, single family homes in Blossom Valley. And how far back do I want to go? 0-60. Let's start with 60 days, right? So I came up with 1, 2, 3 matches, 123 matches in Blossom Valley. Next step, go to the results page. Next step, click stats, tabular, and then grab your baseline right there, right? Which is this. So homes in that area are the most common home in Blossom Valley is a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom home built in or around 1971 with 1,700 square feet. But this is not 100% true because I lived in Blossom Valley for 35 years and the most common home over there is about 1,500. But so what this is capturing is like all over Blossom Valley and maybe more towards a specific area. So I'll show you that. Now the lease price $996, the sale price $1 million, right? It's pretty close. Like I said, they are still getting a little bit over the lease price, even in Blossom Valley. What about the days on the market for those sold? It says it's about 27 days, right? To sell a property, being 0, the minimum, and 115, the maximum. But so we're not going to worry about that. What we're going to do is copy that information like we did before for Blossom Valley, which is my new area. So I'm going to use my snipping tool, capture this data, and I'm going to highlight my average line right here because this is my baseline and I want to compare it later. Price per square foot in that area is about $579 or something like that. So I'm going to hit copy right here or control copy, and I'm going to jump back to my blank page. So open a new page. I'm going to use the same one, and this is my Blossom Valley. Remember, this is Santa Clara, my little area. Now this is Blossom Valley where I have 123 sold properties. So jumping back to my sheet right here, I'm going to analyze everything by status and price. Don't forget this step. This is super important, right? By status and price. That is going to give you the breakdown on how many properties sold by whatever price range. So 8 properties sold between 700 to 800, 30 sold between 800 and 900, and 48 sold between that price range. So the biggest one is this one, definitely, right? So I'm gonna select that. I'm gonna keep that in mind, 900 or a million. It could also, I could put it together, these two, right? From 800 to a million, but I'm just gonna stay here for right now. Next step, go all the way to the bottom of the page and click the back button, right? So I'm repeating kind of like the same steps that we did before, but there's gonna be a little change on this one. So I'm gonna click again criteria, and I'm gonna go underneath my residential search page for my criteria, and I wanna enter the price range, 900 to a million, just like I did before, right? In Santa Clara. Now what I need to do is select actives, because I wanna view, when I jump on my map, which is the next step, I wanna view my competitors. So I'm still in Blossom Valley, area 12. What else do I need to do? I don't hit criteria anymore. I need to go to my map. So currently I have 66, right? Properties listed, that sold within that price range of 900 to a million in Blossom Valley. Now, this is what I need to see right here. I want to go up here. Let me shrink my screen so that you can see and zoom in right there. So this is my area, right? This is my Blossom Valley. So as you can see, there is some activity. Some people have some actives, but I'm just gonna go in an area where it could be this area right here where there is a little, a bunch of homes right here, this area. But I wanna select this area right here where there is 1 or 2 for sale, right? I wanna select, let me get a little bit closer. I wanna select from 85, following the freeway right here, all the way up to Cottle, Santa Teresa. I have a couple of homes right there. This could be my next area. So just an example, but you choose whatever area you want. You could choose this one if you prefer, but there's a couple of competitors over there, right? So I'm gonna choose this just for the sake of it. So I'm gonna go up here, select my polygon, right? I'm gonna select from here, going down, following the freeway, up to Lynn Avenue, Cottle, Santa Teresa, here, follow Santa Teresa, Snail. I'm gonna turn and close it, right? If you didn't do it right, don't worry, you can always fix it. Now, how many properties do I have? 8, right? Next step, once you selected the shape, remember, you already have your baseline for the entire Blossom Valley, right? Where you have 4 bedroom, 2 bathroom, square footage and all that. But I'm gonna need just that little area, so I need to jump back. And now I need to do the same thing, stats, tabular. And from here, remember, there is only one for sale, and this is the price, 58 days on the market on that property that is for sale. So it's taking too long. Now, the ones that sold, right, 7 of them that sold in that little area, sold in about 35 days. So it's not like 10, what was that, 20-something days in Santa Clara, or what was that, 12 days, I believe, less days, right? Actually, I can check right here. My Santa Clara was 12 days, right? This one is taking a little bit longer because there are so many homes that look alike. But anyway, I'm still good because people really want that type of property in that area. So I want to go right here, and I want to select all of them, all these 8 again. I want to capture that data for my little shape that I just drew, which is this. So before anything happens, you're gonna select, you're gonna say new, select this right here. Once you capture it, this is what we're gonna go after in that area, right? 4 bedroom, 2 bathroom homes with about 1750 of square footage right there for the construction. So I'm gonna copy that, and I'm going to go underneath this one and place it right there. So this is my Blossom Valley, and this is my little tiny area that I drew. So it's taking about 38 days to sell a property right there. Well, but it's not so bad, right? Compared to 50-something that we saw on the other one. So now what I'm gonna do is this. Jumping back to this, click the back button and go back to the map for me, please, if you are following me. But if you are not, just don't forget that step. Go back to the map, stay here. If you're using Microsoft, which is one of the things I like, right click on that tab that you have at the top and say duplicate, right? You don't want to lose this one. I'm going to have a duplicate of that one. Now, I'm going to keep the original one. The duplicate, I'm going to go right here to search. This is the second method. Once you found the type of property that is selling in the area, remember we jumped to realist on the previous example, right? This time, instead of doing that, I opened a duplicate tab right there. And what I'm going to do is something that some of you already know. I'm going to go here to the search tab and public records right there, okay? So instead of me going to realist, there is a new thing where I can go and find public records in Matrix. So I'm going to click public records right there. And here's how we're going to start. Notice that this page, this is my criteria page for tax records, right? It looks different to this criteria page, right? So criteria page here where I entered active sold 60 days back and all that, it looks different to my new tab, right? Okay, now instead of entering criteria right now, don't worry about it. The first thing you're going to do, you're going to jump to the map, okay? Go to the map. Now, when you land on the map, no matter where you are, don't worry about it. Just say, I want to jump to a particular area. So you can say Blossom Valley or whatever, but I'm going to say 95123, which is Blossom Valley, right? And hit enter on my computer. So I landed right here in Blossom Valley. I'm going to get a little bit closer and closer, right? So I'm right here. Does this shape look familiar? This is the same shape I just drew, right? So I wanted to be very clear on something here. So these are two separate worlds, right? From here, residential, you can do any type of searches for residential, rental, lot, and land. This is one world, right? From here, going up to here. This is another world. So don't get confused. When you click here, it takes you into the public records world, and I just opened a page. That's why I opened this secondary tab, right? Now, I hope you don't get confused, but that's how it works. So I'm going to draw the same shape. I'm going to remember when I found on my map right here, when I identified the type of home that is selling, blah, 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 and I said, this is the area, right? Then I jumped to realist, but instead of jumping to realist, I opened the duplicate tab. I went here and I went to public records. And now I went to jump to this zip code. I zoomed in and I'm going to select the same area from here, right? So let me show you what we're going to do here. So what we're going to do is duplicate the shape that I had in the search world in Matrix, also in Matrix, which is this. It kind of looks alike, right? So let's pretend it's that one. Now, it's going to give you a lot of numbers because it's trying to pull tax records now, going 20 years back in history. You don't need that, right? So there, you need to, first of all, the next step after you drew the shape, we're going to do this. We're going to click the save button and we're going to put it, we're going to save it in case something happens. New save search, right? New save search, and we're going to call this my Blossom Hill or farm, right? Or my new Blossom Hill farm. My new Blossom Hill farm. And don't forget to enable it as a favorite search on your dashboard. And it says here, you are in Blossom Valley, but within this, you drew that shape over there. Click save, right? So if you ever lose this, you always go back to your dashboard and it's going to be right there. I'll show you later. But what I'm going to do next, remember I still have those big numbers right there. Let me show you. All right, if I start zooming in, it's going to break into those big numbers again. So next step after you saved it, right? Save, new save search, and you put it on your dashboard. Go back to your criteria. And this is my second world, right? Not the regular one where you do residential searches, which is this one. It's the second one. You're going to now enter the criteria. What are you looking for? I'm looking for homes with how many bedrooms? If I go back to my, this is the last one, right? It's a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom home with about 1750 square footage, right? I'm aiming those in that area. So going back to here, I need 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. So same as in Matrix, you could say under 3 bedrooms from 0 to 3 or 3 plus, right? But the specific type of home that we found was or happened to be 3 and 2, right? 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. So I'm gonna leave it like that, just like I did in Realist, and I need to enter the living space. So my living space is 1750. Is that right? So I want to do again 1500 to maybe 2000 right there. I want that living space range, and I don't care about the lot size right now. I just want that type of home. And how many properties do I currently have? 192 possible clients, right? But I'm forgetting a couple of things here, right? Remember when we entered, we want, first of all, we want to do the active properties, right? I'm sorry, no, we want the land use. We want the single family homes, I'm sorry. Single family residential, not the active properties. We want the single family homes, right? So how many do I have? It happens that, well, it happens to be that we still have 192 here. So nothing changed, even if I added single family home, because that area that I selected is basically that. But if you happen to be in an area like Santa Clara, and when you enter single family home, that number is going to drop because maybe you were selecting everything, hotels, gas stations, etc., right? So right now it's still the same. One more thing I need to do is what? I need to remember when I suppressed 5 years of history because I said I don't need to send a flyer to all these people, right, that just bought their home in the area. I want to suppress that. So you're going to have to come right here at the bottom of the page where it says additional fields and add and hit add and remove, right? So I'm going to look for one field called recording date, this one, right? Same as in Realist. Remember, there was one called recording date. So I entered it wrong here, but it was supposed to be right here. So I'm going to have to find that extra field and add it, right? It's going to give me an error right now because I already have it right here. That's why you see the red color right there. But once you transfer it from available fields to selected fields, click the back button. And it brings you back to this page, and you already added that field right there, recording date. So I'm going to do the same, 12/31/2013, correct? Now, how many matches did I get? 0, because I'm making a mistake. So I'm saying from this date going back, I need the minus symbol, right? So now I only have 147 matches, right? Instead of whatever number I had before. So I'm just keeping those. I'm going to send them a flyer to those 147. There is just one last step I'm missing right here, which is what? I need to scroll to the top of the page and select occupied. But here we already have this owner occupied. I'm going to say owner occupied yes, right? So it's 131 matches. So I'm not going to waste my money because now this is the right number of people I want to send this to. And from here, I can do 2 things again. I can either print my labels or I can export, right? So I'm going to jump to my results. So don't forget the 2 last steps. So let me just, before I jump there, repeat this, right? So I went to the map first. I drew the shape. And then after I drew the shape, I saved it and I put it on my dashboard. Then I went back to criteria and I entered my criteria, which was I'm looking for the 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house according to my findings, right? Oh, I'm sorry. It was 4 bedrooms. So let me step back. So it was 4 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. Well, I have 151 properties like that, not 131. I was missing 20 by mistake. So this is my criteria: 4 bedroom, 2 bathroom between this living square space. And don't forget land use. You only want single family homes. And last but not least, you need to add the dates, suppress a couple of years back, start from like whatever year you want. Maybe it could be 14 instead. And then don't forget to say occupied by owner, right? Now jump to results. We're almost at the end. We're gonna select all the results, 151, all right? And how do you select all of them at the same time? If I click here, select, it's only selecting 25 because I have a couple of pages, right, of 25 per page each. So I actually need to click all. So that's going to select 151 at the same time. Next step, I can hit print, right, if I'm printing my labels, right? And I want to say, I want to send it to the homeowner and whatever, right? And I want to say print to PDF. Now, this is going to generate my PDF file, right? With this is the one I want to use to print my labels, just like I did before in Realist. And it goes to the name of the homeowner and their address right there, right? There is no, remember what I said before in Realist, I added an extra thing saying, or current resident. You can't do that over here in Matrix. Unfortunately, it has pros and cons, but at least you came up with that long list of labels that you're going to use to send them to those people. If you don't want to send labels, right, you might say, no, I don't want to send labels to all these people. You can just send it to the to the property without the name of the homeowner. So you use this one instead, right? It's a little bit different. But now I'm going to step back right now, and I'm going to do one thing here. I'm going to do exports. So make sure you select all and you say export instead. So I'm going to export my tax grid, and this is what I got right there. All right. So I'm going to call this my Blossom Valley farm or something like that. Exports. Right? And I'm going to put it on my desktop or wherever you want. And then you say save. Now it's saving that file to wherever you put it at. And when you open it, you can review that tax data for those 151 homes. Maybe you don't want to create labels. Maybe you want to organize this information and go directly to each one of those homes. All right? So I believe this pretty much concludes the presentation. But before we're done, I'm going to do one thing. If I go to my matrix, my home page right here, and I go to my training tab, right? We have this area called tutorials where we have a couple of pre-recorded webinars. So if I went too fast or it was a little bit confusing, just go to pre-recorded webinars under training tutorials, and it's going to be the very first one. How do I find my next listing? Right here, right? And I'm going to be sending you the document, as I said before, right, on how to do this step by step. Let me see. Maybe I already added it under tutorials. I don't remember if I did. Under how-tos, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, it's right there. So if you click this on the next tab, how do I find my next listing? It's going to give you the step-by-step process on how to do this using Matrix and then using Realist, all right? Or else send me an email and I can shoot you that document. So we also have a lot of videos when you go to YouTube and you go to type MLS listings right there, click MLS listings right there, this logo, and then go to videos right there, right? You can see a lot of videos. You can search for that particular one. But I think it's easier if you go again to our training tab. And then once you go to the training tab, tutorials, again, this is the video, the pre-recorded webinar, an hour and a half that you can stop wherever you want or whenever you want. And then you can fast forward or rewind it. And then, or you can go to the how-tos and get the document. All right. So I hope it was useful. I know it might be confusing. It's a lot of information. Try doing it by yourself using the guide and select maybe a different area. And remember, it's just about salts, right? You need to identify the hot spots or the sweet spots where homes are selling and people want those homes in whatever areas. All right, so it was a pleasure being with you today.
Trial.
Let me go ahead and unmute most of you. So everybody's on mute, but see what happens when I hit unmute all.
Trial.
We might start hearing a lot of background noise, right? But you're still with me, Mike, Monique, Therese, Wendy. Is there any question?
Trial.
Anything I can help you with? Well, if you don't want to ask right now, send me an email, right? My information again is right here. Let me go back to it.
Trial.
Let me go back to my last presentation here. So just send me an email to crodriguez@mlslistings.com or call me on my cell and leave me a voicemail.